Hello?
I can't come into work today, man.
Why?
Oh, man, I got diarrhea.
No, you're at home watching Stranger Things.
Spoilers are in this video, so if you have not watched the show Stranger Things, that's my line.
Fuck.
Whoa. Before you watch this episode, have you seen Stranger Things? If you haven't, turn it off. Go away. We'll wait.
Should I stay or should I go? If you say that
You gone? This contains spoilers, and we're about to spoil the whole show.
The whole show.
The whole show.
Every single episode. We're actually just gonna play the show.
Something is coming. Something hungry.
Spoilers! There's spoilers.
Yes.
Go watch Stranger Things. If you haven't seen it, don't listen to this episode, because we're gonna tell you Snape kills Dumbledore.
No, but alright guys, so yeah, we're here to talk about the new Netflix original series, Stranger Things.
One of the best shows I've ever seen. Maybe the best show I've ever seen, and everyone needs to watch it.
Everyone. Literally. Everyone.
Okay. Anyways.
So the thing that was really interesting about this show is that it had no build-up.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it until I just opened up Netflix one day, and on like the main title screen for Netflix, it shows like the newest thing that came out. And I saw Stranger Things, and it has like the font and the picture of the kid on his bike, and the other bike's turned over, and I just knew right then and there, like, I have to watch this show. That's all it took, and I'm glad that I watched it.
Yeah, and I knew nothing about it, and that was the same thing. I thought it was like some crime thriller about someone who got killed.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in a sense,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what happens, and just...
Watch it.
Yeah, just watch it. We're not going to tell you, we're not going to spoil that. He gets taken to a different world, and
He gets taken to another dimension, they find a fake body, it's in the quarry, it's not real. There's cotton in it. Bold strategy, cotton.
That's what it was.
It pays off for it.
Yeah!
dodgeball!
Unrated Justice! Shut up! So the thing was really cool about the show, and when I read the description
there we
or
go.
whatever
Synopsis.
that's what Netflix calls it. The thing that caught me that I was in was that it took place in the 80s.
Yes.
And 80s nostalgia for me is just like the coolest.
Yeah, I actually,
freaking thing.
as soon as I got done watching the show, I texted Jerome and asked him, bro, have you seen Stranger Things yet? He told me he'd seen it, and I literally said, this show was made for you. Because all of the throwbacks that they do to like all the 80s films and like all these references, it's just the shit that Jerome is really, really into. So
The thing that really makes or breaks movies for me or TV shows or whatever is the soundtrack.
yeah,
You know, you can have the coolest soundtrack in a movie and it'd be an alright movie, and if it's playing songs that I'm like, dude, I fucking love that song, it like makes it
You're
cool.
gonna like it, yeah.
Unless you pull a Suicide Squad and you play every freaking...
screw Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
On track. That movie sucked.
We should review it. The other thing that was really awesome about this film, like you were saying,
Show.
the show. Fuck, I keep calling it a movie.
Yeah,
it's a
It
movie.
feels like a movie. Okay.
It's a Netflix original movie series, 8 hours long. Watch it. If you don't, you're a...
Let's just go into it. The production quality is so great on this show, and I think it's something that Netflix does really well, that it actually does feel like a movie as you're watching it. Like, honestly, it feels like an 8-hour movie that they sort of just like chopped up into different pieces or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
And if you don't want to watch Stranger Things, if you're the person who hates shows, you can't
Do
sit
you
there...
hate fun?
Are you not American? I mean, in all honesty, if you don't want to sit down and watch an 8-hour show, if you want to kind of get where this, was going, you can watch Super 8.
Yes. Dude, it felt so much like Super 8. It's cool because Super 8, when it came out, was a lot about like throwing it back to those older... I guess like Spielberg movies or whatever, just older like 80s movies, and that is exactly what Stranger Things did so well.
You could have took this show and put it in the 80s, and people wouldn't have felt out of place.
Yeah.
And
What's cool is we found a list of like all the movies that it kind of throws back to, and it's right here actually.
And these are all, we only wrote down the ones that we actually have personally seen. There were a few in there we hadn't seen
Or heard of.
or heard of. Yeah,
Firestarter.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's cool. I'm I don't know anything
Now
about
we have that one guy.
Yeah, that
He's
one. He's
like,
like,
"Oh, yeah, you like the 80s,
I'm
huh?"
fucking turning this off. Fuck you guys. Okay.
E.T., Alien, The Goonies, Close Encounters, Nightmare on Elm Street, Poltergeist, The Shining, Stand By Me, and then we learned this today when we were
Yes.
reading some stuff on the film.
Really cool.
The uniforms that are worn in the show are the same ones they wore in
Jaws. Yeah, for the police. So the
Yeah.
police uniforms, they have like the same logo or whatever. The police cars that they use are the same. The uniforms, everything. Just really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's like a straight throwback.
It's such little things. It's not. They don't have. They weren't like going so big to the point where you're like, okay, we get it.
Right.
You want to make it feel.
Yeah,
like
they're
it.
not like shoving it down your throat, but at the same time, they're doing such a good job of making it known that like they're making references to these old movies, and it's really, really cool. It just sort of like hits you in the nostalgia, you know, and it makes you like it that much more because it's already a good show. Aside from all of that, it's new and original, but at the same time paying respect to all those older movies, and it's really special in that way.
There's going to be those people who are going to want to shit on this show, and
Yeah.
they're going to say, oh, it's not original. They're just ripping off a shit ton of 80s movies.
Yeah.
They're not. They're just dudes who love it and wanted to recreate something,
Right.
and where else are they going to get their inspiration and ideas from besides the stuff that they were fans of?
Right.
Which, I mean, I would be very surprised if the Duffer Brothers were like, actually, we hate
Well, we hate
cinema.
80s
We just wanted a
movies.
paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
If you've never seen those movies, you're not going to catch it, and I didn't catch them all.
Yeah, neither did
Nightmare
I.
on Elm Street, the only scene that I was like, that's straight Nightmare on Elm Street, is
Yeah.
when she's staring at the wall.
Right,
And
and
the
it's like,
creature's like coming out.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Or
that-
like even The Shining was one of the references in there, and it's cool because I didn't catch it until I read about it online. But the camera work when she's like has the axe and she's freaking axing her wall, right? The camera work is like really similar to when Jack Nicholson was doing that in The Shining. It's sort of back and forth, and The Shining is one of my all-time favorite movies, so that was really cool.
Here's Will! Will's the kid who went
He's
missing.
in the movie
Yeah.
or in the show. In the show.
Do we keep calling it a movie?
Will goes missing. They find his body. It's not real. It has cotton.
So that's the only Nightmare on Elm Street reference I caught. And then...
It was really cool, though.
Yeah, so... But then when I was watching that video where they're picking other things...
Yeah.
The way they...
Fight the monster with fire.
Fire,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was one because they do a similar thing against
Yeah,
Freddy.
they burn Freddy.
Yeah.
And which doesn't do shit to him because the motherfucker burned in the first place.
That's how-
Like, if you haven't seen these other 80s films, I recommend go watch them.
Yeah, it'd
Don't
be cool too. Like, I mean, if you haven't seen them, it'd be interesting to watch Stranger Things first, and then go back and watch those movies and be like, oh, hey, this is where Stranger Things is drawing inspiration from. You know, I think the biggest one that had the most references was E.T., and that was one that I picked up on over and over again throughout the show without reading about it online or whatever. Especially that scene at the very end of the first episode when they find Eleven and it's raining and she just kind of pops up and she's there. That's just like how they find E.T. in the movie. That was one of the big ones, and that's really cool.
They create this masterpiece of just... It's just so awesome,
it's-
and
yeah.
it's so cool, and it's... The thing that's nice about it, it ends, and you're like, more.
Yeah, like
More.
instantly, which is cool because, like I said, I didn't know anything about the show before I watched it, and I thought it was just going to be the 8 episodes, and it wasn't going to be anything after that. Like, it was just this one little mini-series, and that was all. So I was really, really excited at the end when they leave it open and make it very clear that there's more to come. That was awesome. I'm like, I cannot wait for it to come out. I want more of this now.
What, I mean, I guess something that I didn't really expect was how it ends.
Yeah.
You know, you think everything's fine, and I'm like, okay, and they could have ended this.
They could,
have,
yeah,
It
absolutely.
could have just been like, hey, let's make a Netflix original series, like TV show,
Yeah.
make it like a movie, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Walk away with, you know, and it is so successful.
They
And
didn't do
I
that.
honestly don't think they realized how well it was going to do.
Yeah, I don't think they knew how big it was going to get, you know, because we both said we didn't even know about it before it came out,
Yeah.
you know, and then, you know, next thing you know, like overnight, it's the most talked about TV show. Like everyone's going on and on about how cool it was. Their title sequence would just, it says Stranger Things and they're animating it in that song, you know, that's just...
It's so 80s. It has that synth. And it's cool. I mean, they just nailed it in every aspect. And it's, I mean, I feel like there's so many people out there who kind of just forget you don't have to be so big and so, like, over the top and have big budgets and all this stuff because, I mean, I don't know how much they spent on this show.
Yeah, no idea.
But I guarantee it probably wasn't that much.
Well, and the cool thing is even as far as the story goes itself, you know, because I feel like there's just so many things now where we're drilled with giant alien taking over the world, the entire city's destroyed, like, but, you know, and it just gets old after a while, where, like, really, this story is relatively small. Like, it just takes place in this little town, and, like, there's not that many, like, casualties, I guess. Like, how many people get taken to the Upside Down? Like, two? Well, and the group of hunters that went missing.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe 5 people are really, like, killed or
But you're
whatever.
never, like, introduced to them.
Yeah,
so, I mean, there's only 2 characters that you actually learn names of that get taken.
Right, and so that's cool that it's, like, a relatively small scale of a story where, like, I feel like we don't really get that very often now.
And they really don't even really touch detail on the Upside Down.
Okay, yeah, so this is really cool. I read that the Duffer Brothers have the monster and the Upside Down completely, like, fleshed out in their heads. Like, they know where the monsters came from, why they started coming to Earth, like, all this stuff. And they didn't even touch on that at all, which I think is really, really cool, because it leaves a big piece of, like, mystery to still be explored. And what was that? And the monster was really cool.
And I was kind of worried, because when I first kind of started seeing glimpses, because you're so used to just things being ruined.
Yeah.
You know, these TV shows or movies that come out and they're so hyped up and it looks so cool, comes out and it's just dog shit.
Yeah.
You know? And I went into this, like, you know, it was awesome, it was cool, but I'm like,
we'll see.
They're going to lose me on the monster. I guarantee it. When it gets to the monster, I'm going to be like, God.
Dumb.
And because that's what happened to me on Super 8.
Really?
I loved the movie, and I think, personally, it would have been way better if they never would have showed it. Bits and pieces, kind of like what they did in Cloverfield.
Yeah.
You never really see the full monster
Right.
until, like, the end.
I mean, yeah, you see its face, but even then, you don't
you know,
see, like,
you never
the
get,
whole
like, a
thing.
full body shot. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like a Godzilla thing.
Right.
And personally, for me, that would have been so much better. When you first see the monster and it fucking turns around and its face just opens on this light, you just want to...
Yeah, I know.
Boom, 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 boom! You know, just like...
Let that fucker up.
Yeah, and it's like, it's so cool. And I was worried because I almost felt like it was going to have like a Resident Evil
Yeah.
kind of monster,
I
like
got
the
that.
Nemesis kind
Right.
of thing to it.
Yeah.
And it didn't at all.
Yeah, it was cool.
They don't see, but they hear.
Yeah, because remember, she's fine as she's backing up, and then she steps on the stick, and it whips around. you
Yeah,
know?
and then it's...
Another thing I liked about the design of the monster was that it was relatively simple. Like, it's just a humanoid figure with a fucked up face.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, there's not a lot going on, which I think is really effective. Like, that's cool. The quality of the child acting in Stranger Things, because a lot of times children actors can turn an otherwise pretty good or really good movie, TV show, whatever, and make it not as good. This is, like, the best child acting I've ever seen.
So many people freaking love this show. It's 5-star rated. You know, you don't...
And Netflix ratings are harsh, too, so if it has 5 stars on Netflix, it's good.
Yeah.
People like it.